And so I appeal to a voice, to something shadowy, a remote, important region in all who talk. Though we could fool each other, we should consider, lest the parade of our mutual life get lost in the dark. For it is important that awake people be awake, or a breaking line may discourage them back to sleep. The signals we give, yes or no or maybe, should be clear. The darkness around us is deep. Sometimes you think that you know someone. You grow up surrounded by your loving family and your loyal friends, some of which you've known your entire life. You place your trust in them and tell them everything about your life. You have faith in them that they would never intentionally hurt you or plot against you. However, sometimes it's those that are closest to us that end up hurting us the most. This week, we're discussing the case of a beautiful girl that was betrayed by those who should have protected her. The case that will make you question the cruel intentions and lack of humanity in those around you. On the dark and chilly night of December 2nd, 2016, Sarah Stern became one of the missing. Sarah Stern was born in March of 1997 to her parents Michael and Carla Stern. She was considered a miracle child by her parents because they had tried to have a baby for many years before Carla finally conceived Sarah. They lived together in Neptune City, New Jersey, and she was very close to both of her parents, especially considering that she was their only child. The family loved going on vacation together, and Sarah had visited London, Canada, and Australia throughout her childhood years. In elementary school, she met two friends who would stay close with her for the rest of her school years. Their names were Preston Taylor and Liam McAtasney. The trio were so close growing up that they knew each other's locker combinations, and you never saw one without the other two. Sarah would eventually even go to prom with Preston as her date, although the three of them had a strictly platonic relationship. When Sarah was 15 years old, her mother tragically lost her battle with cancer, and the family was devastated. To deal with her grief, Sarah discovered a new hobby to dive into, and it helped her get through the hardest time of her life. Art became her new therapy, and she was extremely talented at it. In fact, Sarah decided that she was so passionate about it, she wanted to make it her career. She had started applying for art schools and attending art conferences across the country. After graduating from high school, Liam and Preston became roommates, and Sarah was talking to everyone about her desire to move to Canada. She had plans to go to school there, but had decided to stay put until her grandmother passed away. The two of them had formed a special bond after her mom died, and she didn't want to leave while her grandmother was in bad health. And she had the money to move anywhere that she wanted to, because she had found something that would change her life. One day, while cleaning out her family's second home in Avon by the Sea, Sarah found some money that her mom had left behind. Well, it wasn't just some. Sarah reportedly found $100,000 in old cash. The money was dated to be from the 1980s, and it was falling apart. But Sarah asked her grandmother what she should do about the discovery. Her grandmother told her to keep about $5,000 for herself and put the rest of it in a safety deposit box at the bank to save for her future. Although her dad never knew about this money, Sarah did tell her best friend Liam about it. The two of them had talked about going to Canada all the time, and she had to tell somebody about what she had just found. The year was 2016 when Sarah's father had fallen in love with a new woman named Christine. Although some step-parent relationships are rocky, Sarah really liked Christine. She was 19 now, and her mother had passed away 4 years ago, so she just wanted her dad to be happy. On December 3rd of 2016, Sarah's father and his new wife were on a vacation at Disney World when they received a call from the Neptune City Police Department. Around midnight, an Uber driver had reported a suspicious car parked on the side of a bridge that crossed over Shark River. The bridge connected Neptune City and the city of Belmar. When the cops arrived on the scene, they discovered that the car belonged to Sarah's grandmother, and it was parked in a suspicious manner. The car was unlocked, with the keys still in the ignition, and there was no sign of foul play. This car was in her grandmother's name, but it was Sarah's car that she drove every day. Sarah's father was immediately concerned because she hadn't been responding to his text messages, and after the call from the police department, he knew that they needed to get home immediately. Searches began for Sarah, and the police wanted to check the Shark River right away. This particular water was known for having really intense currents, and things would quickly get swept out to the Atlantic Ocean all the time. However, they didn't find any trace of Sarah in the water or on the nearby land. Many of her family and friends came out to aid in the searches for her, including her best friends Liam and Preston. Because they were so close to her, the police decided to question both of them, and they quickly found out that Liam was the last person to have seen Sarah. When he was questioned, Liam went through the events of the day leading up to Sarah's disappearance. He said that he called Sarah that day and asked her if she wanted to go to Taco Bell with him. The two met up, got their Taco Bell, and Liam helped Sarah move some things out of her neighbor's house. These neighbors were the Drapers, and they had been storing random stuff for Sarah like Halloween decorations and other just miscellaneous items. After Liam helped her with the stuff, they went back to her house, and he left to go to work at Brennan's Steakhouse. He told the police that Sarah had talked to him a lot about leaving to go to Canada and start a new life. Liam actually told them about Sarah's money and said that he had went with her that day to the bank because she wanted to withdraw money from her safety deposit box. He said that he thought she did this to have money for her trip to Canada. However, Liam also mentioned that Sarah had been depressed ever since her mother died and that she had attempted suicide in the past.
Who do you live with, Liam?
I live with my roommate, Preston Taylor.
Is he friends with Sarah also?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we all went to high school together.
Okay.
Yeah. One thing I want to talk to you guys about was if she did jump off the bridge, what are the odds that she's not somewhere all the way out in the ocean by now?
Is she in Canada?
I couldn't tell you. I can honestly tell you that. I'm one of her closest friends, and I have no idea why she wouldn't tell me anything before she left.
The police were beginning to wonder if she really did die by suicide that night on the bridge, or if she faked a suicide to disappear and escape to Canada. Liam was concerned about Sarah being in the Shark River, and he asked the police during his interview if it was likely that Sarah had washed away into the Atlantic Ocean. The police later checked Liam's alibi and confirmed that he did clock into work when he had planned to be there. They also checked the bank and saw surveillance footage of Sarah walking into the bank and accessing her safety deposit box. The clerks at the bank remembered seeing her, and some of them had known her for years. They said that she seemed happy and she was smiling while talking to them. The police had hit a dead end. There were signs that she might have went to Canada, but Sarah told people that she was staying in Neptune City for her grandma. There were signs that she might have died by suicide, but none of her family or her other friends believed that she would have done that. Luckily, the police received a call that would change the course of the investigation. In January of 2017, a guy named Anthony Curry, who was friends with Liam, had called his dad and asked for legal advice. Anthony had a story to tell, and it was eating away at him. During Thanksgiving Day in 2016, he was hanging out with Liam when Liam started explaining a really weird idea that he had. Anthony enjoyed making films and acting, so Liam was always giving him new ideas for movies that he could make. On this day, he told Anthony that he had an idea for a movie in which he would kill a girl and throw her off of a bridge. At the time, Anthony thought that Liam was just joking around and not being serious. However, that next month, when he saw on social media that Sarah Stern had went missing after her car was found on a bridge, he started to wonder if Liam had been serious about his plans. Liam even started messaging Anthony on Snapchat and asking him if the police had contacted him. He told Anthony that he had killed Sarah and taken her money. Of course, people always think that Snapchat will delete your messages, but everybody knows how to take a screenshot. The cops hadn't contacted Anthony at the time, but he and his father were about to contact them. When Anthony told the police his story, they asked him to do something risky that could aid in the investigation. They wanted Anthony to wear a wire and tell Liam that his video camera had broken. If Liam really did have Sarah's money, he could let Anthony borrow some and in turn confess to the murder. The two of them met up in Anthony's car, and he was understandably nervous, especially when Liam asked to search him before they began talking. Luckily, Liam didn't find the wire, and he was very willing to tell Anthony everything that had happened. I'm going to play the taped conversation between the two of them. It might be hard to understand, so I will explain everything that is said after the video. I want to warn you that this confession is graphic, and it may be disturbing to some listeners.
Dude. Alright, so I'm hanging out with her. She has... We went to the bank, she took some money out, not all of her money. We're counting it out, and then she goes to walk out the front door. I choke her out, drag her. My biggest problem was the dog, and her dog laid there and watched as I killed her. Didn't do anything. So, I have to leave. I dropped my phone at Sarah's house. My phone was at Sarah's house. Like,
wait, you left your phone?
Yeah, I lost it. I couldn't find it. I had to go to work. I had timed everything out so that...
Why did you take your phone? You should have left it in your pocket.
Dude.
What were you doing?
Strangling someone? I couldn't find it, dude. But I choke her out, drag her into the back, put her in the bathroom, and then I had to go straight to work. So Preston came over, took the body, put it in the bushes, and then... I get off work that night, go straight over, and we take her body out of the bushes and drag it over to her back fence, and I crawl, get into her car, and I back up. There's a security camera across the street, so I had to act like her. I watched her every time she backed out. She does the same thing, so I backed out exactly like she did and drove off.
Put her in the trunk.
No, put her in the passenger seat of her own car. And then Preston and I had these walkie-talkies to communicate with. We just used them again. So I was driving, and I had her buckled in the passenger seat.
So she looks like she's just sleeping.
She's just sitting up. And I go up, and then Preston comes over the bridge, goes around, makes a U-turn, comes up behind me. The two of us throw the body over, and then we're out. I pretty much hung her, like, I picked her up and had her just, like, dangling off the ground, and she just pissed herself, and
Did you lose control of your
said my
body?
name, and then that was it. And it took me a half an hour to kill her. I thought I was going to be able to choke her out and have her out in, like, a couple minutes. I choked her out, and then she was just laying there having a seizure or something. So then I got a shirt, and I just shoved it down her throat so she wouldn't throw up or anything, and held my finger over her nose, and set a timer. That's the only time I had my phone, and it took me like a half an hour after I hit start on the timer. This is the thing about account for.
You don't know.
Yeah, you don't know until it happens. I don't feel any different, and I don't think about it. You always think you're going to try these new things, and you're going to change.
But it didn't change.
It just doesn't do anything. It's weird.
With this full confession now on video, the police felt like they had a slam dunk case to arrest Liam for the murder of Sarah Stern. Liam had confessed that Sarah had told him about the money her mother had left behind, and Liam had planned her murder for the past 6 months. But Liam didn't do this alone. In fact, he asked their other best friend, Preston, to help him dispose of her body. When Preston had asked how much money Sarah had, Liam said that it was, quote, enough to kill for. They had actually attempted to kill her a few months prior, when they were all hanging out and the boys planned to put something in Sarah's drink. However, their plan backfired when they learned that Sarah didn't keep the money at her house. According to Liam, Sarah's father was out of town and he convinced her to withdraw the money to go to Canada like she had wanted. They stopped by the bank, like the police had seen on camera, and then they went by the Draper's house for the storage boxes. After that, they went back to Sarah's house around 4:15 that evening. The two planned to go somewhere, and when Sarah walked to the door, Liam grabbed her in a chokehold from behind to strangle her. Liam actually set a timer on his phone to see how long it took him to strangle Sarah, and it ended up taking about 30 minutes. Liam stated that she, quote, pissed herself, and said his name right before she died. After Sarah was dead,